If you want to support the channel at some point, go to the YouTube version of it over there. That'd be great. Same content, just as a freebie for now. Okay. So yesterday during the day when we were falling, I thought I saw a move up based on this green M that we see on my screen. And I put these two arrows. I consider those done. That's target 1 and 2. Target 3 is more like up here in this zone. I don't know if I would hold out for it. These are mega caps. That's about 50 to 60% of the Nasdaq. That's about 30% of the S&P. I say it because the easy move is played out from these guys. So now this becomes an XLF story, an XLP story. Okay, so and those guys are going into a prior fail from yesterday, so those should hit a hiccup. So that's everybody, XL, this and that, going into a prior fail. Not a place I would start longs. We have a breakout on KO. Okay. Tiny breakout above yesterday's high and overnight high. Overnight, it had a spike on KO. I have not added to KO or KR. They're both down 32% for me. Starter positions on both. Can we do SPX credit put spread 50? What do you mean 50? $50 what? Paying $50. Credit put spread. You can. I mentioned it at the open. I wouldn't do it now, though. It's gone. Well, I don't know your portfolio, to be honest. So I don't like to do a credit put spread on a 2% open. Broke it? Broke what? 350 coming on MSTR? Okay. This is the target from yesterday that they never went to. They took a pretty long detour to get to these two arrows from yesterday. And above that, we have all these problems from Thursday or last week. I bet you people in here are now having FOMO, fear of missing out. Oh my God, I'm not long. I'm not long enough. Just remember, we are selling rallies. The bears are 100,000% in charge of this price action. Okay? To just settle your feelings. All right. What is the password here today? Oh, got it. Okay. Luis, that's funny. Fofu. What secret? Jafar, no man, I can't believe you don't know that already. No, no. So that's not over the weekend. Okay. So there are only two front doors to the live room. One, our website, simplestocks.com. Two, Benzinga. As a courtesy for you, Jafar, when you joined an event, you had access to that as well for a temporary period of time. Something broke in the Discord and showed the password for longer than what you were supposed to. And that's been fixed. So that's where we stand. I can guarantee you that simplestocks.com will continue to have the front door. Benzinga is up to them how long they want that front door there. Yeah, I would be short the SPY here or SPX. The credit call spread, that's the best because you don't need to work very hard. You just need to sweat a little bit. Buying a put is difficult because everybody's bulled up again, looking for moonshots everywhere. Is it done? It might be. We'll see. How about selling a SPY call? You can. I prefer the SPX. It is cash settled. A lot of people have restrictions. Yes, of course. We did that earlier. It's 52.95 and 5300 was the zone we looked at to sell a credit call spread for today on the SPX. Oh, you're welcome. So it is dangerous to short this market. There's still hope in this market. I can prove it to you folks. Coca-Cola and KR are rallying when they're selling Nvidia down to zero, which means the mentality is, holy crap, let me take my money out of Nvidia. A sure investment. It is a sure investment. And Apple and Google, they are sure investments. They have the least amount of question marks, okay, as far as iffy things. And let me hide in something until those things come back. That's the mentality. When somebody sells Apple to buy Kroger, that means that they see risk, temporary risk, and that we're going to resume higher, and they don't want to miss out on a penny, so they still hide in something else. The market is not as scared as people think they are. The market is emotional, but not scared. It's just emotions at this point. What the Sorry about that. Nice. Okay, so let me remind people, those of you who had a credit put spread from yesterday that was in trouble and you rolled it to today, you can exit for even or green today. I would do that. If you don't, then sell an aggressive credit call spread and sit and pray. Okay. I wouldn't just assume that we're done falling. I will keep track of the options data. Earlier, I said there's some weird stuff going on, and hopefully it normalizes. It is normalizing. There's still a lot of like the biggest chunks of calls transacted today are a mile below current price on the XSP. And I mean a mile. Okay. So that's weird. However, there's no such weirdness in the SPY. The SPX is pretty nicely distributed, the QQQ as well, and the IWM. So from an options perspective, we just hit resistance and that's it, except for the XSP. The XSP says, what the fudge? I still am not done with 510, which is $13 lower than here. Seems unreasonable to go down there, but I thought I'd mention it, which means I book calls and I would not sell a credit put spread. That's what I would do with that information. All right. So if you don't mind making a showing over here so we can log, that'd be great. Let's see if there we go. Yes, if you can just make a showing there, that'd be amazing. Just to get some metrics going. Do this once a week, just so we can. I make it I made it very low latency, so the delay is probably about 4 seconds, almost as good as this one here. Let's see here. 1,000, 1,000, 3 second delay. Amazing. Good job, YouTube. Interesting. Okay. Are we done going higher? No, we have had a lot of downside in the last few hours. So the knee-jerk reaction may or may not be done. Let's see. The easy rally is done. Up 2% on the small caps. That's not a joke. And these guys, upper right-hand corner, this big red candle, this doji you see here from today, that's a 15-minute candle. That's the opening 15-minute, basically, violent drop and rally. That's a basket of all the mega caps that we care about. And down to AVGO. So we have Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Alphabet, Meta, Amazon, and AVGO, Broadcom. They made a high, they made a low, they wanted to be somewhere around the middle, and now they're using the middle as a base to try to attack the highs. That is probably 60% of the QQQ, about 30% of the SPY. The other 30% are these, the XL, this and that. And those guys are a little bit happier today. Misguided or not, maybe they're just hiding in here because they want to avoid the earnings from these guys, which start this week with Alphabet. Actually, they start tonight, Tesla, although it's not in here. Tesla mathematically is nowhere near as important as these guys. You know what is? Freaking XLF. And XLF did poke above yesterday's high, session high. So they went above here a little bit on the XLF. So if I put it down on the bottom right, XLF all by itself, which is banks. Let me take out the buy calls. That's the open high from yesterday. The XLF did poke just a bit higher. I bet you there's a lot of sellers hiding inside these candles and at 46.83. I would expect a lot of resistance here and here. All right, so we can shrink it back down to here, XLF. I don't know a way of doing this other than expanding it and shrinking it again. Okay, and then I'll bring back MSTR. I know some of you are trading it live right now. This here is the ultimate test of risk appetite because Bitcoin is flying and this is a risky stock and it's trying to fly as high as Bitcoin. It isn't. Bitcoin is outpacing it right now. So there's drag from something else inside this stock versus Bitcoin. We'll see what that is. Testing the high of the day. The only trade that I would have any confidence in here right now is a bear call spread on the price action for today. Okay. Scrolling back through the messages to see support and resistance on Tesla for today, for the week. For the week, it doesn't matter. It reports earnings tonight. So what I tell you is not going to matter much. I can tell you the levels I know for Tesla that are in play for today. Okay, so write them down. 240 and 223. Those are the tightest margins. And then outside of that, 219 and 249, 248. 219 and 248, either of those two numbers would be what it does on a typical day, looking back 30 days. It's pretty wild, I know, but those are the numbers. 223 is yesterday's support. Keep that in mind. Okay, 209 and 259 would be one standard deviation above and beyond that range I mentioned earlier. So if you look back 30 days, if it goes to 218, 219, it's normal. Not normal. It's typical. Not normal. Typical. If it goes to 248, it's typical. It's normal to go to 258 and 209 by the term of being normal, one standard deviation normal. In this case, I would reword it to say it wouldn't be surprising to see it at 249 or 248 or 218 or 219. Okay. It being in earnings tonight, later in the day, closer to the close of the day, I will look at the options and tell you what the body language is. If you came in late, you missed the whole discussion earlier today. Pete came in with a bearish trade idea, which I don't disagree with. I mean, bearish is fine, bullish is fine. Whatever your trade idea is for the earnings is what it is. But I mind saying, oh, the report is going to be bad, therefore I'm going to go bearish. I think you would be flipping a coin if you said that. Okay? You would totally be flipping a coin. And then to prove it, I showed NVIDIA's last 4 reactions. It had 3 drops and 1 rally. The last 3 were negative, 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 and the one before it was a pop. So we had pop, drop, drop, drop. And I can 1000% guarantee you that every one of those reports was smashing, like unbelievably amazing reports. Yet we've had 3 drops and 1 rally. Explain that with the logic, oh, I'm going to short it because it's going to be a bad report. The reaction to the earnings is arbitrary. It's based on the expectations, period, end of story. That's what I believe, and I can prove via numbers. I just did. You can repeat that comment, the NVIDIA comment, for any of the mega caps. For the last 10 years, Apple has not delivered one bad report. Neither has Google, neither has any of these mega caps. But it's still a coin flip. Mega caps are making a bigger move than that opening candle. So now they're contributing to this upside here. That's pretty bullish. So now we have these guys, which are ETFs. And then we have this one, which can be its own ETF. They're just a bunch of big stocks. On the back of who? Basically everybody. Even Amazon. Amazon was a lead balloon yesterday, wouldn't stop falling. I still would favor here selling a call spread than anything else. You can try to buy a put. We can be in one. Let's see. I looked at one earlier. It's down 35%. The 520 put. If I had it and I still didn't close out of it, I would stay in it. It's early in the day. Halliburton down 9% today. You can't see earnings. You can't see earnings because what? Someone's asking about Halliburton. Down 9% today. Oh, that's not Halliburton. That's Hindustan. I fall for that all the time. Okay, it's falling into support. If I was long and it's too late to panic. If I believed in the company and I think it's going to hold 1850, I would go long into 1850. So if I was an investor in Halliburton, I would sell puts to own shares at levels that I deem cheap enough for me. This company is not for me anymore. Once they moved out of the US, it became a black hole. I don't know what they do anymore. I mean, I kind of know, but I honestly don't. Read their report and make sure there's nothing broken. On a day like today, I wouldn't close my longs unless I changed my opinion about the company. I don't know how much premium they will provide you for Halliburton, but you need to first decide that the report is good. So yesterday we had, one second. Yesterday we had this going on, right? Everybody scared poopless. That's what's going on yesterday. And today we have nothing but greens. What a difference a day makes, right? There's no change in the parameters that drove yesterday's move or today's move. Absolutely no change. Okay. So that is how these fools work, these market makers that make us believe stuff. This is why we do what we do. So we go from this to this in hours, and experts will have you believe that there was reasons for this red, and now the reasons are gone. So if you spent 5 minutes reading BS headlines yesterday as to why we were falling, you wasted your time. What would they say today? Oh, here's why we're rallying? Because what we said yesterday were lies or no longer true? Which is it? Do we have new reasons why we're rallying today? Which is why in the morning note I said it doesn't matter why we're falling, just like it doesn't matter why we're rallying right now. It's a matter of dollars and cents. Period. End of story. Stocks got too expensive. They corrected, and they are correcting. And now sentiments are over the top. We overreact down. We overreact up. Today, as of yesterday's scoreboard, according to Larry, he said that this is the worst month since the Depression. I haven't verified. If that's true, chew on this comment, during which we had the biggest green day ever on April 9th. Tell me this is not an idiotic market. Of course it is. The only way we can put some sense into it is we look at charts, lines, Fibonacci levels, harmonics, wolf waves. Then at least we're using math, which is a proven theory. The mega caps yesterday hit a floor. These guys, 60% of the QQQ retraced the entire move from 4.9. So I drew this chart and I put these two arrows yesterday. They just priced it out. Okay, there's more upside to be had and resistance to be had. Like anything from here on up, like another 0.6 from here, and then they would hit serious resistance just looking left. Okay, so if you're just now going long one of the mega caps, you're about 4% too late, 3% too late. If you're investing, it's okay. If you're trading, you should know we're going into a prior fail. The easy recovery has happened already. There's still a bunch of hope in this market. And the fact that the market makers are focusing your attention on Powell versus Trump, they are lining you up to take your money. It is not about Powell versus Trump. It's about U.S. policy, period. U.S. is trying to do some stuff, and that's how they get it done. It's about stocks having gone too much, and they have to come back in order to become bargains. Anybody selling NVIDIA yesterday, please come to me and explain to me, what did you panic out of? I would love to have that conversation at 95. The person that sold $95 level NVIDIA, what did you panic out of? Okay, I'm just a rhetorical question. Which creates opportunities. So yesterday, I could have sold a put in any of the mega caps. We chose one, but in reality, I could have sold all the mega caps puts with complete confidence. Which one did we choose? I can't remember. AVGO. It's up 17% from yesterday. Even as a credit put spread, if you sold the put naked, you're up more, 25%. Yeah. Yeah, they're buying it today. Exactly. Yeah. I'm not saying buy it at 148. I did not say that. I said sell puts at 95. Micron at 45. MongoDB last night, in case you missed it, had a little spastic response to its CFO leaving. That always boggles my mind. Why do people panic when the CFO leaves, especially in an established company? I get it if there was like some weird company, but that's crazy stuff. So today we're buying dips. Be careful buying puts on every dip. Let me explain. If we are in the habit of buying dips until further notice, red marks are opportunities to go long, not short, until we hit a significant level. I can tell you that this area is a significant level. So at some point, these buying the dips will fail. And the way they will fail, the topping formation, just like we tracked it for months, will not make a higher high and will start making a lower low, significant lower low. In this case, let's look at this base and see if we lose it before we take this out. Those are the two things I would look for right here, right now. So how low down this candle will they go? And what will they do on the bounce from it? Okay, I can tell you there's a seller here now and there's a seller here now. Let's see if they take this zone out before they lose this one candle right there, which is the base of that red line, this one. These three lines I just added for today. Okay, so that is to see if we have a topping formation for the day. We did this for months, by the way. I sold credit call spread in the S&P and the NASDAQ for months. Same concept. It just accelerated time. This is a 1 minute chart. We will come down from 1 minute in a minute, down to 15 seconds. Okay, let's keep it on 1 minute for now. We have a few new people in here. Remember, I purchased some stocks of Serve at a price of 11. I don't remember. And the market crashed. Would it be wise to buy more, buy another 100 shares? Where is it now? I don't have it on my screen. Oh, cut in half. Okay. So I don't know what Serve is. And I don't know if they have any income or not. Let's double check. No income. Okay. So it's not about charts. It's about what you believe about the company. So a couple of questions. One, when you bought shares, was it an all-in situation? Like you invested all you wanted to invest all at once? If so, I would never add. You made your bed, you lie in it. That's how it works with me. If you only took a partial position, then you can add if you still believe in the thesis. And the charts are not going to help you. Any arrows today? Well, I just spoke about it. Did you hear what I just said? I literally said how it can play out. I'm confident by selling a credit call spread. I'm not as confident telling you that we're done rallying today. We're buying dips, and I just shared how I would determine whether we stopped buying dips, at least on this 1 minute chart. And we take it tick by tick. Duh. Okay. So I have a few questions in the live, which is looking to buy Micron calls, for example. I'll get to that in a minute. What I just did here is I copied the price action from the last 30 minutes and I moved it forward to see if we are doing it again. The Bulls are in charge today. The scoreboard is green, but that's not why, because we are setting higher lows and higher highs. We're buying dips and making highs. Let's see if they can repeat it one more time. As far as buying calls, that's my least favorite way of going long a stock. But Micron has been beaten down, and it will move with the earnings for the next couple of weeks. So you can do whatever you want, folks. You can do whatever you want. It is not about timing it perfectly. So as long as you have an idea as to why you're buying calls in Micron. Let me go to Micron's chart really quickly here. I'll go to a daily chart. I don't mind it. So it might go lower, say to 58, 56. Let's go to a weekly chart. Let's go to a monthly chart. So that eliminates a lot of the noise, right? So we go back to the year 2000. It took a detour. It took it so long to get back to the 2021 highs, and then it shook it all out, which is pretty good. And then it went to high heaven. I shorted it up here. It was a huge battle. Remember, if you've been a member, it was a big payout after a big struggle. And then now I'm long. On the dip, I sold puts for the group, right? I suggested let's sell some puts at 45. Um, as a trade on a daily basis, I would take a long. You could get to 80, 84. You could get to 77 to 84 with a lot of resistance spots in between. And if you want those spots, would be 74, 78, 81, and 84. 74, 78, 81, and 84. That's just a broad statement. Now, you should be mindful that we are selling rallies. Okay, look at it. So from here, that rally looked pretty good. We lost it and we triggered a new leg lower. This rally looked pretty good and we're losing it. This was a pretty violent bottom on 4.7. If we lose 4.7, we will get to 50 or 48. So let me know you heard the person with that question. Okay, Leo, never will I suggest an iron condor on a violent day like today. An iron condor is a range-bound trade when you have visibility to the range. Okay? We don't have that. We have visibility to levels. And today, I would sell a call spread with relative confidence. In fact, let me go check on that, bad boy, before I say it. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so the sold delta is 0.17 of the call, and they're paying me $80. That seems pretty generous, which means they may not have been finished rallying. We'll see. But I would be okay selling a call spread. We are at 52.45 SPX currently, and the original credit call spread was at 52.95 or 5300. Those two are still statistically viable. In fact, instead of buying a put, I would sell a call spread even more aggressive than that and collect like $110 for like a 1921 delta sold call. So that would be the equivalent of me buying a put for $380 where I don't need a drop to win. And the percentage win would be pretty good, be more than 25%. And I don't need a drop to win. I just need them not to explode much higher than this. That would be my trade setup right here. That would be the easier way to win today on this higher lows and higher highs, which is arguable right now. So let's see if they get to 521.9 before they make a new high. That would be a small change in behavior. Pretty incredible battle right here. I know it looks boring to a lot of people, but it isn't. If you're new on YouTube, say hi. We do this all day, every day. Every once in a while, I go live on YouTube just to try to attract more people. If you're a jerk, don't bother. If you're a nice person, join. I'm looking, let's see, SPX, Amazon, and Tesla doing the best out of all the mega caps. I don't know if that's the case. I mean, the Nvidia is up 2% and change. So is Apple. Collectively, that's them right here. They hit the target we assigned yesterday. These guys are doing too much. I think the XL posse needs to back the F off. Let's see here. My account today is pretty green, relatively green. I'm short a few things. So Coke and KO, small reds from those today. Berkshire, I'm suffering a little bit today, but I had a big day from it yesterday. I am short Berkshire via sold calls and call spreads from May, September, and December, which I'm fine with. I will double down on those, in fact. So I'm confident that I will win on those. Famous last words. GDX, I'm short that via sold calls or call spreads. Let me double check. Yeah, credit call spread. That one is in trouble, but it's for June, so I'll see. It's a partial trade. It's a leftover trade. And the credit call spread on gold from yesterday, that's still okay. I can open that today. In fact, I might send a trade to open that today. It's October credit call spread at 375, 380. It's a chicken way of doing, hey, you know what? Gold is too high. Let's see if we can short it. That's that's what I would do with that. Long Mongo, long Microsoft, long Micron, long Intel, long Google, long Kava. That one is winning as well. Long AVGO as of yesterday, long Apple, long AMD, long Amazon, and none of them need a rally to win. All of them is sold puts or sold put spreads. All of them. ARM as well. Let's see here. With ARM, we had several ways of doing it, and they were profitable-ish, so I'm okay with that. Qualcomm, I'm long. Q's, SPX, short, but they played out. There's no way I'm going to lose on those. I'm suffering with TTD, long and suffering. That is my worst trade from last year. Short XLI, XLP, and XLV, but those played out. No, not short XLV. Long XLV, winning. Short XLI, XLP, and VOO. They all played out. Lost on the UUP trade one time from a while back. UUP, I would probably buy a straddle right now. So that's pretty much the front face forward portfolio tickers names that I've been sharing. A quick update on all of them. You know me as a perma bear because I was just bearish last year. I am not a perma bear. I'm a perma bull. Proof is it that I'm long more than short right now. In a period of time when everybody's scared crapless. This is where I am right now. So if you want to go there, that would do me a huge favor. I only see like 19 of you. It's just click on it. You don't have to spend a lot of time. It gives me metrics so we can get some action. Okay, so these 3 red lines that you see on my screen is a support zone. So now suddenly they're shy about making another high. I find that hard to believe. They have so many shoulders. Okay. So we'll see how that plays out. The 524.50 line is, if we look left, we'll probably can attribute it to a prior fail from the last couple of days. The VIX is still holding 30. There's no reason why the VIX is at 30 if we're comfortable with the upside scenarios from here. The two things don't make sense. So the mathematical average of the VIX is under 20, just under 20. The reason it is at 30 is because market makers are a bit nervous. This is it. They're fighting for the top. An easy step. They call this flagging, whatever you want it. It's the small consolidation zone. And since you're coming at it from below, consolidating in whichever format, looking like this, looking like that, looking like this, I don't care. It's a consolidation zone. If you take it out, you're going to target this area. Move, consolidate, break out, finish the move. Something like that. So how do I deal with this? I don't buy a put until I know that we've topped, because they're buying puts and making higher high. I mean, buying dips and making higher high. Buying a put just makes it harder to fall. The more people buy puts, the harder it is to fall. Think about it. So not making a higher high is better traded by selling something up here than buying something. If I sell something up here or higher than here, the only thing I need is this not to happen. Every other scenario makes me money. This 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 makes me money. Versus if I buy a put, I need this to happen. All right, so it's not the mega caps, it's the stupid XLP and BS. So XLP had a high yesterday that we just exceeded barely, and a high on Thursday. Holy crap! I wasn't trading on Thursday. I was running the seminar. I cannot believe the range of the XLP from Wednesday night of 79.8 to 82.2 or 82.3 on Thursday morning, like within a span of a day, hours wise. That is some violence right there. Holy crap, man. What is going on with the most boring companies on the planet? I mean, that's just insanity. Let's go to a 5-minute chart and I'll show you what I mean. Look at this violence in the most boring. These are soap companies and soda companies. Look at this range, 3%. So you drop you drop 3, you rally 3, you drop 3, no, 2.2, and you rally 2.6. In Coca-Cola and freaking Pepsi and all kinds of boring companies. That's just crazy. That's how stupid this market is. Maybe emotional is a better adjective. And unreasonable, silly. Bitcoin is not helping the cause of stability. So the way to establish a bottom, you need to drop, you need to have stability. So these plus 2% days, plus 3% days, minus 3% days do. So the plus 3% day is just as bad as the minus 3% day. What you want is a smaller range to calm down. You can't bottom violently like this. I mean, you could if it's actually a bottom, but we're only probably 15% off the all-time high. It's not a disaster. And the fact that Bitcoin is rallying to going to 90 just is proof of the risk appetite globally is not dead. And the fact that they're buying Coca-Cola to a new all-time high and Kroger and selling Nvidia, which is a bargain at 95, a relative bargain. Okay. So speaking of, Nvidia now has a bearish wolf wave on a small time frame. So these guys might have a small dip in them, which will be normal. So if I go to a 3-minute candle, for example, from 15, you might see a little bit more evidence of some resistance. These are the mega caps, 7 stocks, I think. Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, I forgot to mention Meta, and AVGO. Mathematically, those are the largest companies. And this is it. Yep, they're doing exactly the same thing now. So I just copied and pasted the prior action to see how well they do with it. Almost 91, yeah. So Bitcoin above 90 does not help the talking points of being, hey, let's be reasonable here. If you're on YouTube and you don't know the group, we have 275 people right now inside of a chat room that you don't see. And that chat room, live room, I should say, it's not chat room, it's a live room. They're watching my screens all day, every day, and we trade all day. And it's not just me contributing. There's a bunch of excellent traders in there. For example, Ryan popped in on MSTR first thing in the morning, said, I'm trading it on the long side. It's breaking out, benefiting from Bitcoin rally. I am, MSTR is a high-profile Bitcoin stock that kind of tracks Bitcoin, the spot price of Bitcoin. And today, Bitcoin is a complete breakout. So MSTR follows. We discussed it pre-open, strangely enough, and I showed you that yesterday somebody would have paid you $900 to buy their shares at $105. It's at 300 plus. They would have paid you $900 yesterday to buy their shares at 105. Think about that, 850. So think about that comment. That's how unsure market makers are about MSTR. Why do I say market makers? They're the ones selling these options. If you go buy a put on MSTR at 105, who's selling it to you? Right? So, sorry, if you're selling it, yes. So who's selling it to you? The market maker. So I'm usually a seller of options. So I'm a micro market maker. I trade like a market maker because they win more often, right? Isn't that the statistic that everybody regurgitates? So thinking like a market maker, if I wanted to own shares in MSTR, why not get paid $900 to own it at 105? And if I don't, I made 9% of my risk. What do you mean? 9 divided by 100 roughly is 9%. My risk is 100. If I get assigned at 105, my risk is actually less than 100. So it's actually more than 9% reward, right? Do the math. You'll come up to the same number. So that's the lazy way of trading. Sell somebody a losing lottery ticket. By the way, before the split last year, there was a strangle that would have paid $90,000 on MSTR. and it would have worked. If somebody sold the call and the put at the time when we looked at it in the group, they would have paid just amounts, insane amounts of money. Not for the faint of heart, of course. I would never recommend selling a naked call on MSTR. Naked put, I would if you want to own shares. But not right now. Find a down day. Like up 9%, you're selling a put, you're selling it at a discount. Okay. Wolf Wave, bearish on NVIDIA. It could see 97.50 again on NVIDIA. Let's go put that on the screen. Okay, harmonic, wolf wave. I told you the wolf wave is the right-hand side of a harmonic, right? Let's see if it does target 1. 97.60, 70, something like that. I'll put a line somewhere around here. Let's see if they do that. Okay. I don't remember why I drew this line, but I trust my lines to match up to areas. That's probably a gap. Okay, I know what that is. So even though the gap extends to 526, it's not really. I think this covers most of the easy gap. So if you look left, we're approaching a gap. In fact, let's go to the SPX to visually show you. So this is a silly market. So, oh, we got to fill the gap. Okay, but look at the gap you just created. They can't do anything moderately. They just overreact this way, overreact that way. That's what I mean. A plus 2% day is just as bad as a minus 2% day for the goal of stability. If you want to stabilize this market, stop having these plus or minus 2% days, right? Mathematically, 30 is a plus 2% or minus 2% day. I believe you divide it by 15.9, whatever that magical number is, because somebody said that's what it is. It's the square root of the number of units of the period of time you're doing. So square root of the number of trading days is like 15.9. That's why they say if you divide it by 16, you will get the percentage. So 30 divided by 15.9 is roughly 2. So on any given day, plus or minus 2% on the S&P is, quote, normal with a VIX of 30. So this is just a normal day. Okay, Let's copy paste. What do you think? One more time? It's starting to look wonky. It's changing shape because of the I have the candles set to equivolume candles, so they get thicker and thinner based on the volume. That's why the copy paste. So we're looking for a topping formation. We're up 2%. We're up. Interesting. What am I going to say next? Let's see if you guys know me. What am I going to say next about that? Europe closing. That's good. This is a first day back, right? They were closed yesterday in Europe. Closing in about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So it's a bit early, no? Unless they change the clock on me. 8:30 a.m. my time they close. Okay, so here's what I was going to say. This is what I'm going to say. Earlier today, I made a comment about the small caps and the S&P. The small caps were up, I'm going to try to remember, 1.8%, 1.9%, and the S&P was up 1.3%. I said this is normal. The small caps outpacing the normal market, the larger markets. Well, the small caps are only up 1% right now, and the S&P up 2%. That is not normal. I'm just saying. Yeah. We have some pretty weird stuff. Before the market opened, we had some weird stuff in the options, especially on the XSP, and we still do. We have a large amount of calls transacting 25 below current price, deep in the money calls. At the time, they were about $15, but we have moved. We were up 55 SPX points, and now we're up 100 SPX points. So they're still there, though. And right now, the SPY is $1 away from clearing all the calls. Okay? So that's an extreme situation. Let me explain. If the SPY goes to 526, there would be no significant calls above here. So all the calls and all the puts in size would be below price. That is an unusual situation. It has happened a handful of times this year, and every time that happens, we reverse violently lower within hours. It's a matter of math. There are people paying out these winners, they want their money back, so they'll push the price action lower one way or another. Yeah. So what I'm saying is Holding calls from here on up is difficult. Selling put spreads is unadvisable short term. And if I took bullish trades, not investments, my setup yesterday was an investment, wasn't a trade. I would be out of the longs. If I wanted to leave, as they call it, runners, I would. And let me define what a runner is in my book. You can define it however you want it. If I had 10 and I closed 9 and whatever is left over can go to 0 and I still have a great day, that's a runner. If I had 2 and I closed 1, that's not a runner. That's just me trimming, and that's not what I would. I would be out of my sizable long if I was a trader for today. Okay. Having said that, I respect the emotional state of this market, and I would short with credit call spreads, not buying puts yet. If you buy a put, I would suggest to use tomorrow's premiums. More expensive, yes, but you're not at risk of being blown out by the dip buyers today. Also, tomorrow you will have a giant question mark, which is the reaction to the Tesla earnings. I will look at the Tesla options later in the day to see if we can get some clues. We have stabilization in the VIX, not in the VIX futures. The VIX itself is stabilizing. The VIX futures not as clear. They're not different. They're different time frames. Let me change. I don't know what they did to Thinkorswim. My goodness. Yeah, no stabilization in the VIX futures. The VIX is trying, but not the futures. Weird. That looks like a pretty nice tail at 30.31. Let's see if they break out of 31, 30.9. If the VIX comes to 31, that's a long ways from here right now, then there might be a change in price behavior here. Where do I see the dip buyers, the call buyers? In the XSP at 506 or lower, 507, 506, 509, 510. They've been transacting down there before the market opened. Okay. What is this divergence going on? I mean, we have strength in the XLs. Why is the why is this small caps not following? I do have that question. So let's go to the Russell 2000. Where's the weakness? Why is this only up 1%? When this is up 2 and change. Mega caps. We have 3% Apple, 2% Nvidia, 3% Amazon, 7% Netflix. It's like they reported today, not the other day. Oh my God. They were barely up on the day they reported because it was a red day in the market, and now they're taking it back. Okay, so now we can understand it. The market is only up 1%. Just think about that. And think about why are the mega caps up so much? Because they are the only group that I found that have actually retraced all of April 9th rally. The whole thing. The S&P, only 61.8 or 62% of it. Fibonacci-wise, it doesn't have to retrace all of it. But here's another sobering statement. If you think that you got a generational entry point in stocks, we are 16% from an all-time high, 16. And we are hold on. I'm trying to find, okay, there we go. And we are currently Okay. 55% above the 2018 Christmas crash of Powell saving the market. Trump was bashing him in October. Cut rate, cut rates, cut rates. He was raising rates. Christmas said, oh, okay, QE. We are 55% above that. Just for relative perspective. Okay. Then we went into an all-time high in January of 2020, which was very, very bizarre. I think people knew about the pandemic coming. That's my own personal opinion. And that we are still 35% above that. That was a huge, violent all-time high in January of 2020. Out of nowhere. I was like, why are we rallying into closing the month celebration in China? How are we making an all-time high, including Chinese stocks? That was very bizarre. And then the pandemic hit. Okay, great. Now this video will be deleted by YouTube gods. No joke. This has happened before. If you mention the word pandemic, spreading misinformation. Okay, let's see if the VIX holds 30.31. I'll put it down here if you guys want. It's not that important. The VIX futures has not bottomed yet. The VIX was showing a bottoming effort. Let's see if it plays out. Well, KRE has been a good leading indicator of what's to come. So the KRE is up 1.3%, more than the small caps. So it's definitely not dragging the small caps. The market is not up more than 1%. The reason why mathematically the S&P is up more than 1% is because giant stocks are up huge. Mathematically, they are 30% of the S&P. So the S&P should be up 1%-ish. It's up 2% because 30% of it is up 2 to 6%. More than 30% if you include Netflix. So this is 30% roughly. And they're up 2%, these guys. Netflix is up 7%. So we have some outstanding moves. The XLF is up 2.3%, and that's 15%, 13%. It's just crazy day after a crazy bad day. And I can guarantee you people in this room right now are feeling FOMO. I'm not long enough. Okay, let's look at it from a weekly perspective. We have had 7 out of 10 weeks red. The bulls are not in charge anymore. They're not even in charge of the last 5 days. Last week, it was all red. Yesterday, it was a disaster. We're still trading the range from 4.9. Okay, so let's go to a 15-minute chart and put the lines on from this morning's note for guidance. This green box is the 9th. This red box is April. This move today is infinitesimal. We're just covering this gap, and we left the gap down here. If you don't think that there's a possibility that we test 5025 in the next 10 days, then you have expectations that are above and beyond what is going on. Beep. Short look at this message. Check this message out. Bitcoin crossing 91.2, short MSTR. That's a message. I don't know when I said it. That's an alert to myself. Let's look at MSTR. I don't take the short of MSTR lightly, folks. Okay. Why not? Let's go sell a call spread in MSTR, something boring. When does it report earnings? One day. I think it could go to 364, 365. Soon. Yeah, I don't know if I want to short it into earnings. Dang it. Let's see here. It has a lot of premiums, so let's go. Oh my God. Somebody check this statistics out. Remember where it's at, 350, okay? And I'm going to shrink this and we'll talk. Somebody will pay you. Listen to this. That's how unreasonable this market is. Somebody will pay you $4,500 today for you to give them shares at 600 this year. I'll say it again. Somebody will pay you $4,500 today for you to deliver shares at $600. I don't recommend you sell naked calls on MSTR, but that's what that means. If you own MSTR calls and you want to make $4,500 this year and break even at $645 shares, you can make $4,500 today by selling a covered call on MSTR for this year. Is that crazy? Okay, so let's uncrazy it and turn it into a spread. They'll pay you $122, $125 to sell a call spread at that same level. The delta is wacky. I don't know what's going on with this platform. It's showing me a delta of 35. In no way it's a delta of 35. I guess it is. Let's go higher then. 690 to 700, $90. 680 to 690, $90. See, the quotes are wonky. $90. Weird. So I'm going to sell one to see what is the quote. I want to investigate. So collecting $87 to sell a call spread at 710. Will you pay me? Not paying me. All right, we'll lower it a few cents. They're not filling, so I've lowered my ask to 80 cents. I'm just price discovery at this point. Out to December, selling a 710 call, credit call spread is not filling. Here's another one that has activity on it. So let me cancel that one. Cancel. 700, 710. At least there are 50 contracts transacting. I'll set it at $80 and leave it there for a minute and see what happens. Oh, filled. Okay, don't need to leave it there. So somewhere around $83, they will pay you to sell a credit call spread at 700 for MSTR. Basically doubling from here. And by the way, you can do it in Iron Condor. So let's go down and do the exact opposite for the Iron Condor. This is for December, by the way. Oh, okay. So let's go down to 90, 80. What? 90, 80 pays 100? 85, 80 pays 50. Do two of those, you'll end up with an iron condor. 85, 75. 80, 70. I'm discovering, okay? Discovering. 75, 70. 65. Okay, let's see if that fills. Credit put spread at 75, 65. Oh, filled too fast. Ask for more than what I asked. Okay, so I've collected almost $190 to sell a $10 wide iron condor on MSTR. MSTR. While we wait this show to end, so ticker MSTR. Bearish side of an iron condor. Okay. If you're on YouTube, hey Winston, Linda's amazing. Good to see you here. Join the group if you have time to trade during the day. We do this every day, all day. So if you're on YouTube and you heard me set up a trade on MSDR, you should know that I'm not advising anyone to take that trade, and this is my own risk appetite. And MSDR is definitely not for the faint of heart. That trade risks under $800. It pays more than 20% reward. And the way to win with that one is I need MSDR above 75 and below 700. My break-even points are 702-ish and 73-ish. I will look at Lily in a minute. Mhm. I'm trying to write it up for people that are not here. If I'm long or short MSDR, I shouldn't add to my exposure. Okay, so yesterday we had selling happening consistently. Chug, chug, chug. I told you somebody's getting liquidated. It looks like today they're buying it back. This to temper the enthusiasm, I go to charts like these, higher time frame with preset lines from before. So this was the pre-opening note that I shared, and the market was just gapping up, and we've added. We're coming into resistance from yesterday. And in the process, like these ticks, these are the reverse engineered ticks of these. So for the next few days, if we lose yesterday's low, we will lose 5,000. It's almost a guarantee. Okay, that's a statement. Now, until you clear 5340, you're still in the hands of the sellers. In fact, I think at some point yesterday, I went to my favorite chart, which is this one. And I said we're at 5360 or whatever numbers. So we're approaching these targets on the top side. Look at it visually. Just look at it visually. We had this chart, forget the dots and boxes, and it fell apart from this level of 5480, 5500. It overshot to 48 something on April 7th. We had the biggest one day rally of all time. And I'm told today that this is the worst month since the Depression, or worst April since the Depression, in spite of a 12% one day rally. So we priced a lot of the rally out, but not all of it, a little bit more than half. And until we recover and hold the neckline from which we fell apart, which was 5,500, roughly, SPX, the bears are in charge. We have lost the neckline and we're not done targeting the bottom. So if this is a neckline to head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it, there should be 600 points of downside. Okay. So 600 points of downside we have not hit yet. Or have we? Yeah, we have. Okay. So the shoulder has been priced out. So the immediate target has been priced out, but the path of selling rallies is ongoing for as long as we're below 5,500. That's my take, the big picture. Within the big picture, there are bargains, which we've been going long by selling puts and leaving room for error. Am I still holding the KO put? Yes, because when I sent it out, it was a starter position. I could add today. I'm down 30% on it. And those are profits, by the way. We've already crushed it with KO twice. And this is just the third time of the same trade. So I'm playing with profits, and I'm down on an initial. Like if I took one put of 4, I can add another one today. Same concept with KR, but KR, I don't know much about it. KR seems a stronger company than KO for some reason, and the stock is insanely strong. I can't justify it. So I have not added to KR. They're about the same trade. If you like what you see and you want to interact on YouTube, feel free. In the notes, I do read the notes after hours, like if you leave comments on the video. So, okay, we have rinsed and repeated this several times today. Let's see if they do it one more time. At some point, they would have enough of upside. The mega caps overdid it. They're delivering too much because they got crushed. So this is just a knee-jerk reaction. In reality, the market is only up. What the fudge? Okay. I don't know if it was a think or swim or what. The small caps are up 2% out of nowhere. Are we kidding me? Let me see if it's a think or swim thing. Oh my gosh. Look at this reaction from the small caps. When I said it, we were here. These are 1 minutes. What? I have never seen this. On a normal day, like out of nowhere, Nick says, "Oh, we're only up 1% on the small caps." Somebody said, "Holy crap, boss, we forgot to push the button on the small caps." Boot. Oh my gosh. Yeah, hold my beer. This is funny. This is funny. What's 380? This is funny. Oh my gosh. 1.2% in 25 minutes, less than 25 minutes. Now let me see here. In 22 minutes. Amazing. Who knew? Rolling 3. So your target is 380 on MSTR from 350 to 380. Should we get the 350 first? CrowdStrike. Okay. I missed your entry on that one. Sorry. Oh my goodness. That is just funny. So I can't have that talking point anymore of the small caps. But guess what else happened at the same time? The VIX made a new low by 30 cents, maybe 32 cents, something like that. And now the volume is increasing on the VIX futures on this last bounce. There may be a bottom in the VIX and still above 30. Yes. Tell me when you exit on these so we can tell the masses that followed you into it. If I'm up 200% on a call on a violent day like today, I would be out of that call completely, especially that the stock I'm chasing is chasing something that's pretty violent and prior fails, violent fails. If I'm long MSTR, I wouldn't even roll. I would just lock it. As a trade, 200%, I should have the balls to quit and call it, let's trade something else and get another 200%. This is why MSTR is rallying, pure and simple. That chart right there. This chart is going into massive fails from before. And the rising wedge forecasts a dip of 3,000 to 5,000 on Bitcoin. there is an argument to lock profits completely on a trade on MSTR. I'm stuck in a credit call spread at 52.75.80. Okay, 52.75.80. Well, if I still have it right now and I haven't closed it, I wouldn't close it right now, Arthur. How much should you collect to open the trade? I'm assuming it expires today. Okay, how much should you collect per contract? $60. Yeah, if I still have it, I'm not gonna bail on it today, right now. We're going into the gap close, into resistance levels from yesterday, into being up 3%, almost 2.5%, after down 3% day. So this is just a mirror image of yesterday. So a couple ways you can handle this. Wait 20 minutes and see what happens. Trim it now and make it smaller if it's more than one, or roll it to tomorrow and higher for no credit or debit, or roll it to tomorrow, same level, smaller. All these, I can talk a little bit more about it. So, for example, if I sold 5 credit call spreads and I'm in it right here, the price has come at my front door. If I roll it right now to tomorrow, it's going to be a credit. Okay. Oh, you sold 50 cents. Yeah, I would definitely not back out yet because you sold a credit put spread with it. So your break even point is $110 above your demarcation zone on the sold calls. And so if you roll the credit call spread right now, they'll give you a credit when you open it for tomorrow. If I had 5, I wouldn't take the credit. I would make it 3 if I can, and not pay anything. Like use the credit to reopen a smaller position. This way, whatever problem you had, you still have, but it's smaller. If you had 2 and you roll and it's a credit, go higher and sell a credit put spread after the end of the day. I have a credit, let's see here. Thanks on Tesla earlier. I decided against the $50 wide credit call spread, hoping. Yes, because somebody earlier today we were discussing how to recover some losses on a call in Tesla for someone. And their idea was to sell a really wide credit call spread. And I said, you're just opening a new trade that might cause you more pain. I mean, it's something to do, but it's just, for me, sometimes we lose. I would expect the loss. Possible for SPY at 520 today. I'm stuck with 520 puts. I don't know how you can be stuck in puts. When you buy a put, it's different than selling a call spread. Chances of 520 today, I mean, everything is possible. And let's go to the pros and give you the exact odds of 520 SPY today. Okay. So for the future, when somebody says try a put at 520, you should say, okay, I paid $220 for the put. I would not lose more than, and choose an amount of money and exit on that amount of money. If you want to be a good trader for the long term, you have to have the strength to close a loser, because every once in a while we lose, and you need to know that that loss is not going to set you back 2 or 3 other trades. 520 odds today is 17%. So you need a fast drop. So if you haven't closed that put yet, I mean, I guess you can wait a little bit. So I would urge you to say, you know what? If they have a flash drop, I'm willing to exit for a 30% loss. You need to pick a number that gets you out. You can't just sit there and you're no longer hoping for profits. You're hoping to recover some of the losses. Okay? So that's what I would do with that. Whoa. So we're long every stock under the sun. Folks, that's pretty freaking dangerous. I have to say something. I specifically went to the SPX to temper the enthusiasm. So we have hodling going on in here in the sense where risk appetite suddenly came out of the closet and is super strong. It's too strong. The bulls are losing their asses. That's the fact. You need to be a little bit more conservative, folks, as a group on which calls to buy and where. Going long, CrowdStrike, MSTR, Netflix, it's all one trade. Make sure you guys know what you're doing with that and know that it's a super fast trade. It's not a swing trade, even though it's said to be a swing trade. It could be down 50% in 2 minutes and up 50% in 2 minutes. Not for the faint of heart. We're chasing. No, you ask him. It's unclear. I don't know the answer to that. So the person asking me in private, I don't know how to answer that. I don't have that information. It is too aggressive to belong all these calls. That's my honest opinion. And we're here to protect each other. I just told you the main reason MSTR is rallying is because of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is hitting a lot of resistance right here, right now. It can go higher, yes, but if it's stock ABC, it's hitting ABC selling points. So I wouldn't start longs here. I would definitely book profits, especially that I got 200%. And the other ones, they're just the same trade. And make sure you're trading the same speed. I did not check Netflix. I know by heart it's going into a prior fail. There's no way on earth I would ever go long a stock that's going into a prior fail. So here's the easy stuff. Yes, you can make money. It could go to 1120, of course. But I go ask this person, hey, how'd that work out for you last time up here? So this target from the breakout from down here is here. So this is a target breakout from 960, 955. It can overshoot. It can go to 1120. I'm guessing if they consider this a breakout on a daily basis, say, oh, cup and handle, which it isn't. That is not a cup and handle. It's just a regular breakout. 1120, 1130, you can explain like quickly. Make sure you're fast enough to profit from it. But this move in the small caps, I have never seen before or noticed or remember. Okay, drum roll on the VIX right here, right now. The VIX right here, right now. There's a decision to be made by the bots of the VIX. If it gets to 30.75, there's a chance they're done selling the VIX for today and it's going to inch up with higher lows, higher highs towards 31. I'm watching. I'll update you. Okay? The 5-minute bots might be changing their mind, which means I'm going to watch if we get to 523.50 on the SPY. This one right there. I'll make it aqua color so it sticks out. So rinse and repeat gets us to 527, right? That's that dashed line. That's copy paste from before. It's worked. That's the third time. I think that's the third time. We'll see. 523.50 versus that, or that and then 523.50. We covered the gap to the penny. Let's see how they behave. These are amateurish chart decisions, if that's what they were chasing. Oh, we covered the gap 100%. Well, if that's the case, they left the gap below. So we'll see what they do with that. If you're having a good day, stop. Good job. High five. I'm speaking to someone in particular. Oops, I missed a message here. Important message. People on YouTube, ask me a question if you're not part of the group already. Oh, Lily, yes, absolutely. Sorry about that. You asked earlier. Do you have a specific question on Lily? Technically, it could go to 790. It wouldn't be surprising, or 767. This red thing is a harmonic. It should be bearish. I wouldn't bank on target 2 of it, which is 745. I would say I don't like it when they leave a gaping hole somewhere in the middle here. So 790, 780 zone might need to be revisited. I don't trade news. Looks bearish on Lily. Be careful. It slayed quite a few bears. I don't trade Lily. It's too violent. It's got an amazing P&L. So if you want to short it, make sure it's in a controlled way, like buying a put spread. Selling a call spread, buying a put spread is like the least aggressive because you're not spending money out of pocket. The credit call spread will finance your debit put spread. If the drop happens, you make money. If it doesn't, you have to deal with the credit call spread, which leaves room for error. So that's like the most reasonable way of shorting a stock like that. Also, pay attention to the earnings. I don't know when that happens. So we're looking for a top for today. This is as good a place as ever. I'm short on Boeing for earnings. Any levels to watch out? Okay, so short for earnings. When are the earnings for Boeing? I looked at Boeing yesterday. It's not a place I would go long. It has buyers below and sellers above. I would sell a strangle right now. Tomorrow morning? Okay, so later today, with like 30 minutes to go in the day, come to me. I'll look at the options. Sometimes they'll give us hints as to what they plan on doing. Interesting that they're reporting tomorrow. Yep, no problem. Do I usually look at option flow, Nick? I look at options. I don't know what is option flow. What do you mean by that? I look at the options table and I see the volume transacting. Usually halfway through the day, if it's a 0 DTE chain, the volume eclipses the open interest. If I'm looking for Friday, I consider the volume and the open interest. It's too early, Vahid. You asked me a question earlier. I didn't answer it. What level on Netflix were you asking for? I just remembered. On YouTube, I'm answering questions from the live room over there. I like NVO better than Lilly for a small bounce. Well, NVO is oversold if you believe in their business. So I agree with you on that one. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm going to call you EK on YouTube. How do you pronounce your name? Enk? Did I say it right? Or Manny? Okay, we'll go with Manny. I don't know if I remember that. Manny. EK, if I forget. What were we looking? Netflix. 1300 June. That's 8%, so it's relatively statistically, quote, safe. What do I see at Tesla earnings after hours today? It's too early to tell. The day is not, it's in infancy stages. So I will look later. Are you in the live room with me or are you on YouTube? Because if you're on YouTube, I'll just give you a peek, which might or might not be accurate. Yushin, we debated a lot about Tesla. Or you're on YouTube? Okay, so I'll take a peek. Don't hold me to it because there's still a lot to transact today. And we had a debate on Tesla. Somebody said they expect a bad report, therefore they're going to go short. I said you might get the bad report and it could rally because it's about expectations. So I don't really care what kind of report it reports. I just care about what the price action will be thereafter, right? Okay. So looking at Tesla, it has 160 implied volatility, which is higher than normal. I don't think it's triple, it's probably double, which is low. It should be more. And they're pricing in about $25 upside or downside. So we can go to 215, 213, we can go to 265. Let me look at somewhere else. There are other resources I can look at. It's a tough fight. Today's action, they don't know. Based on today's action, they don't have a clue. Okay, so let me give you some more information. Again, this is early in the day. Whoa, holy crap! All right, let's see. Let's go out to May. Oh my gosh. Okay, so hold on. The May monthly expiration. Jesus. Okay, 19,000 calls sold at 250. I say sold. They were also bought, but the way the transaction happened, initiated by the seller. Okay, so that's pretty freaking high. $13 million worth. That dwarfs everything else for any weeks beyond this week in size for Tesla. That is a lot. Like a lot. Okay, that's a side note. As far as this week is concerned, 240, 235. Yeah, there are too many call buyers today. I don't think it's easy to rally. In fact, there might be some downside pressure. So maybe if it rallies, it fades. So if it pops to 250, it comes back down. And if I were to put an iron butterfly, I would position it slightly bearish. So I could do an iron butterfly around 227.50 or 230, 227, 225. I want to say, okay, it'd be okay to balance it somewhere around 227, 225. So basically give up today's greens. You can play a bearish bet by using put diagonal. Okay, so we're approaching my blue line, which I thought would be interesting to get to. It's not game changing. They're still buying dips. They could still buy that dip if they approach the blue line. What's not liquid? Evertrade MC. No. If it's not liquid, ditch it, Jason. It's not worth it. It's priced to go up. I disagree. Not from the options. You might have other reasons for it to be priced to go up. What do you mean by price to go up? The options don't inspire up. If your guess is up, it is a totally legit guess. I'm just saying it's not obvious from the options. It could pop to 250 and drop. There are a lot of sellers at 250. Hmm. Pennies more. Pennies more. 237.5, which is below here, they are 60 cents apart, it looks like. That's not a big... No, I know, it's a good tell, but it's not outrageously different. So what Ryan is saying is that, let's say the stock price is at 238 and the call at 238 and the put at 238 should be about the same price. So he's saying there's a skew to the call side. There is, but it's very small. For me, I wouldn't risk money on that difference. Looking at the options themselves, where they're transacting, how many of them, doesn't inspire a rally. Inspires a pop and a fizzle. We'll see. I wouldn't short it based on that. And if I do short it, I would play a put diagonal or sell an iron butterfly, which means go up or down, I don't care, as long as you don't go up or down more than 6% or so. I can try to do that later in the day. A put diagonal takes advantage of this implied volatility differential. For example, a put out in they're expensive throughout. So I don't think they're pricing enough in put prices or call prices. Like the implied volatility for today is 156 this week. Even if I go 200 days out, it comes down to 70. So it's barely double 200 days out. Usually, like Nike, when it reports on a Thursday, the implied volatility is 4 or 5 times more than normal. Nike. This is Tesla. That's weird. That's really weird. That means it's not going to do anything. Why else would they price it so cheap? Or it's going to spike at the end of the day. So I wouldn't put the trade now, but it would be a put diagonal, but not if the differential is this little. It's not that great. When in doubt, don't do anything is my take. Puts aren't really paying on SPY despite the drop. Yes, that's why I said I'd be more comfortable selling a call spread than buying a put. And by the way, the VIX did breach some moving averages that tell me that the 5-minute bot may be done selling the VIX. We'll see. If that's the case, folks, the VIX is still double the normal. There's a reason why the VIX is double the normal, because those who sell options are still nervous about the S&P's outcome 30 days out. Temper your enthusiasm, folks. Please, 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 please. Thank you very much. I'm going to go on mute for a minute. People on YouTube, we're going to end this. Are you sad? Are you sad? You're not sad. Daniel, ingrate. Ingrate. Don't ever come here again. Sounds like you did not have a good time. I'm sorry about that. I will do better next time. You want me to twerk or something? Okay. Linda rocks. Linda and I go a long way back. Join the group. Listen, join the group. 1 month. If you don't stay forever, I'd be surprised. I know, she's amazing. Join the group 1 month. If you don't like it, I would be shocked. Shocked. Hi, Jens. I think I've seen you before. Linda can be. I'm not so sure. She has an open invitation anytime she wants. She's been in the room before. We've hung out days on end trading back in the day. So yeah, it's a good group. It's a friendly group. We have 275 people right now, and some of them trade super fast. Thanks, Ryan, for today, by the way. Trades up and down, fast or slow, options or stocks or futures, whatever it is. We're pretty good with the charts. We're pretty good with the options, and we have resources. And as a group, we kick ass. We do better than the individuals out there. I think we're better off trading as a group than trading alone. Even if you trade your own things, at least you will have opinions. Like right now, somebody in the room is asking for charts from somebody else because they know they have skills. They're asking for trades from somebody else because they know they have skills. So it's not like a one-person show. It's a group effort, I promise. And I've met a lot of these people face to face, like hundreds of them. So it's a tight-knit group. I promise you, you would love it. And no harm done. Just 1 month, pop in and out. Okay. I don't bite. I do sound angry at times, but I'm Lebanese, so that's what we call passion. If you're a jerk, you're gonna get kicked out, which we hardly do. So don't bother. But if you're a reasonable person, nice with skills, or looking to get some skills, join the group. So this blue line I drew, the aqua line, 523.50 on the SPY, should be support. Short-term comment for today only. If lost, then we will start looking at 522, which is a round number. If lost, then it's 520.5. So we're traveling miles. We usually travel pennies. Now we go in sheets, dollars. Yeah, don't mention headlines. So that's interesting that the DAX closed only plus 0.3%. Well, the DAX was closed yesterday, so they missed the minus 3%. So they did not have that to make it up. All right, YouTube, we're going to cut it off. Or should we keep it? Another 30 minutes? You tell me. Just tuned in? Okay, we'll keep it. We'll keep it. 30 minutes. What time is it? 8:58 my time. 8:53. All right, we'll keep it. Oh, on the put, if I'm break even and I'm holding a put, I keep it. QQQ. Okay, so let's check on the Qs. I would hold it. So these are your Q contributors up here. And they approach the target I said earlier, not a target, an area that might be a challenge. So this is a collection of Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, Nvidia, and Broadcom, AVGO. So if I'm holding a put on the Qs and I'm even, I hold it, because guess what? If you lose 541.7, you might end up at 540.5 on the Qs. I'll draw it for you down below, somewhere in here. And by the way, on the bottom right, I have a buy call, buy put indicator. Very simple. I mean, it's a pretty darn good guide. If you lose this blue line, you'll end up down here. I'll put a line for where down here is, ish. So if I'm holding a put, it's worth it, especially if you're break even. It means you timed it good. Well, good job. Okay, you definitely need to rejoin. Guess what? We're running a special. 0% off the membership. That's a special. 100% satisfaction. Not guaranteed, but definitely it is worth the effort to be in the group. No soup for you. Nick, I'm short. I'm in Goldman Sachs short. It has resistance above around 515. Do I like it on Goldman Sachs? So I'm short Berkshire. So we're kind of in the same boat then, you and me. Goldman Sachs. Okay, so this is not a bank, so it's a black hole. 520, 530, 545, 520, 530, 545 are resistance zones, yes. So if you're short here, yes. But be careful. So I'm short Berkshire. We're kind of in the same boat, except Berkshire is this close to its all-time highs. So I'm probably a little bit riskier than you. 100% satisfaction likely. Steve, I love that advice. Perfect. Mark, nice. Okay, so I have a situation. The VIX is happier than the VIX futures. Which one is lying? Given the Bitcoin is off the highs, I'd say the VIX futures are a little confused. The VIX is doing better. Caveat to that, today is Tuesday or Monday? Tuesday. Okay. So the VIX contracts expire tomorrow and they settle in the AM. That sometimes whacks the VIX quotes. Yep, yep. I'm putting myself on mute. I'll be right back. Looks like I leave for 5 minutes and you guys exploded the market. Headline. So they repeated it one more time. The rinse and repeat. Buy the dip and make a higher high. Looks like mega caps caught the fire. Who? Alphabet. Actually, all of them, but Alphabet looks like the pointiest. Interesting. Let's see what crypto does and what KR does and what KO does. This is a manipulated market, folks. This is just crazy stuff going on right now. Somebody blowed up and a possible deal with China. 2018 scenario, like freaking word for word, man. Word for word. Possible deal with China. I would cut my head off if there's a deal with China. China will not even talk to the US. They will not even talk to the US. 2018, I promise, they will not be a deal with China. Oh my gosh, what a day. Woo-wee. Who the hell is Besant? De-escalation. You read that as a deal? De-escalation? Oh, okay. Who's Besant? Treasury Secretary. I miss Yellen. Treasury Secretary just signs the check. They have no decision powers. This is somebody trying to make money off of the gosh dang headlines. That's all there is to it. Right. I said I miss her. He's Mnuchin. Oh, I remember him. Yeah, exactly. That sounds like a bearish headline. Situation unsustainable. That's pretty scary. That's freaking amazing. Okay, never mind. Let me. I need to send out a note. Hi, Nick, newbie trader here. I'm bearish on Netflix over the next few weeks. What would be a good strategy? Why are you bearish on the Beat stock right now? Best stock. Which one? No, me? Bearish? No, somebody's asking me. They're bearish because it failed here last time. That's what happened last time. It's normal to be bearish on a stock that's rallying into prior fail. You can be bearish on the price action and still like the company. I shorted great stocks on the way up. We're not trading feelings here. We're trading prior behavior. When a stock goes into a prior fail, it's okay to short it with a stop. A credit call spread would perfectly orchestrate that strategy. You take a bearish position, you leave room to continue rallying. Easier shorts out there. I'm answering their question. They specifically asked how to short Netflix. Sell a credit call spread here for today at your own risk. This is a manipulated market. Yes, that would be a thing I would do today. The VIX did not make a lower low, and the stocks exploded into a new high. One of those two is not normal. In fact, I may need to add to Coca-Cola right now. I just can't resist anymore. I'm going to buy one more put to get it out of my system. Oh, Lord, this market, this is beautiful. Which account is it in? I don't have it in two accounts. Okay. Just one. Get it out of my system. Yeah. Here's my take on this one. Headlines have an excellent timing. So if you want to sell it for today, you can. You just need to know that you're at risk, okay? Everything is up 3% right now. They're all in agreement. That's why the small caps rallied. Somebody knew about releasing that headline. That's why the RTY rallied in panic. You can explain all of it. Earlier, we said, what the hell? How did the small caps rally so much? That's because they knew about the headline coming. I got in tomorrow, 520 SPY put for 171. Yeah. If I'm holding a losing put, my goal changes from making money to exiting with the least amount of damage possible. So if you get a relief drop, you take it. So determine what would get you out. Okay? And if it's a large position, you can take some of it off just to make your problem, to stop the bleeding. I see stabilization in the VIX itself, but not in the VIX futures. The VIX futures did fall, but not the VIX. Might be the fact that tomorrow is OPEX for the VIX. We'll see. That, you know what? Let's try this. Let's try this. 52.95. If I sell a 5,300 credit call spread right now, they'll pay me $200. Or 53.10. How much is that? $150. You're risking $350 to make 150, which is a huge risk reward. It's a good risk reward. And that would be the opposite of you buying a put. So if somebody wants to sell a credit call spread and they have a strong stomach, and here's the important part, you can close a trade in the day. You don't have restrictions on PDT rules. I would sell and collect 53.05 or 53.10 bear call spread. Collect 160. Let's see here, 53.15. 53.15 will get you $150, $170. If you're looking to short here, short with a stop. So here's how it works. I collect $150 for 53.15. That's what it's quoting, 150. And let's say they continue rallying and it goes into money. It turns into 210. You change your mind. You buy it back. You lost $60. I'm not muted. That would be a way to fight this rally. Let's see if they give you 150 for 53.20. They don't. They give you 130. Oh, yep, they do. What did I get? 125, 53.20, SPX. So I'm risking, I want you to know that, I'm risking the difference between 125 and 500. SPX credit call spread for today. I took it as price discovery. So if it goes to 240 and I decide, screw it, I don't want that, I pay 240 to get it out of there. I would have lost the difference between 125 and 240. I would not add to whatever I had. If I'm already short, I don't do this. I'm not short today. In fact, my portfolio is a bunch of longs, right? Yeah. Hi, Hal. Thanks for giving us a shot. So I want to write up. I want to write up the day for people that are not here. It's so hard to explain. That it's just you want to put everything you saw into one package, and it's just very hard. So I'm trying to. I will verbalize it so you guys participate in. Like, how do you tell somebody? How do you tell somebody what happened today in a few words? I don't want to write a dissertation. I'll give it a shot. Good afternoon, team. The markets are rebounding to erase yesterday's drop. Are rebounding plus 2.9%, so not to say 3. They have pretty much covered the gap from yesterday. But that doesn't mean that they can continue from here with the same ease. Okay. So tonight, Tesla will report earnings, and how it reacts tomorrow could influence the S&P and NASDAQ at the open. All right, so let's put an actionable point. Like, so what? What do I do, Nick? What do I do? This is not the time to change opinions about what's going on. Nothing happened, really. So what I said in the Sunday night video still stands. We are selling rallies. And until that changes, I don't start to buy calls just because I feel better. Okay. Another statement is that crypto. Okay, so as far as trades are concerned, crypto is catching a bid and MSTR stock is following it. Today's trade idea is to try and short that beast. Let's see how well we can write it out. MSTR is not for the weak traders. It is a very violent stock. That's probably the best way of saying it. And it reports earnings soon. The following is a trade that should be as boring as possible with this. No, forget that. It is range. The trade is to range it for the whole year, which is slow mover. I would close it at 50% of maximum gains if I'm given the opportunity. 2 parts to this trade, bullish and bearish. The bearish bet and the bullish bet. Let's see if those are still priced the same. I'm sending a note to people that are not here, okay? Similar. Nope, they've changed a little bit. So which one? The call spread. Oh, it must have fallen then. Okay. Yazan, I haven't answered any questions. Tell us, Nick. Okay. What am I going to do? I'm going to do nothing. MSTR. Crazy stock. Please be careful. Okay. Massive 532 put 0 DTE flow. How would you read that? 532 put, I assume you're talking about the SPY. 24,000 upside pressure, but you're running against downside pressure from the massive calls. We have more massive calls below. But you're right, it is unusual that they're transacting 532 puts for today. Okay, let me repeat what I did with the SPX, just so there's no confusion. Instead of buying a put, if somebody wants to take a stance and saying we are at the top of the day, you can buy a put for tomorrow probably. Today is, we washed our hands from it, I guess. Without a quote headline, it's probably going to be hard to reverse and win with puts. So you buy it for tomorrow. It's on sale because we're up 3%. And you have time to change your mind today or tomorrow morning to get out of it and still have some premiums left in it, hopefully. Or you can say, you know what? Instead of spending $400 to buy a put, I'm going to risk $370 to sell a call spread. It risks the same amount of money. So if I collect $125 for a credit call spread, I'm risking $375. The difference is when I buy a put, I need the drop to happen. When I sell a call spread, I don't need that. I just need them not to continue on with the same fervor that they have been. And there's no sign of relenting. The small caps have caught up. And if you want proof that this is a rigged game, and it is, which is a good thing, you should see how the small caps rallied before that headline. Tell me you don't believe that the powers that be out there organize the news to make them money. Do you think this comment from whatever his name is was happened exactly the minute it was released? No, it was all choreographed. That's how it works. And you should be okay with it. That's how it works. We're okay with it because we kind of make sense. Somebody's asking me, what do I think of UNH? The whole sector is a no-touch. I don't understand how the billing works with Medicare and all of that, and it seems too sensitive to these things. So it looks like every day we can go up or down miles just on a phase 3 trial, phase 4 trial, FDA approved this or denied that, a lawsuit on this. It seems like every day you're just bracing for impact on a headline. Do I remember? Yes. Oh, 5,300. You can roll it now. It's no need to wait. If you roll it now, you can make it smaller. Can I comment on gold debit put spread? Yeah, I have it. What about it? The debit put spread is... You mean the debit put spread I shared? The one that was a butterfly? No. If I'm buying a spread, are you asking me if I want to buy a spread? I wouldn't buy it for May 2nd. It costs the same. to go out a month. Why not go out a month? Why would you just make it for the May 2nd? I would also tell you you can sell a call spread to finance it. In case you missed it, I did buy a KO put at the top-ish. Extra. So I started a position. So if I meant to own 4 puts and I bought one, I can add another one. So I can still double what I have comfortably. That's the idea. I can't tell you to buy 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know your budgets. The butterfly was, if you're looking for a debit put spread, it's a simpler way of trading it. I sent out a June debit put butterfly. 305, I buy that put. I sell 290 and I bought 275. In hindsight, I should have done it wider. If we have a crash in GLD, it being this little might be a problem. I will have to wait for price to stabilize for me to actually book it for a profit. It's only down. So if I haven't started my put butterfly, either make it a lot wider and more expensive, it'd be easier to manage, or just buy a straight up put vertical. So you buy a put just under current price, you go down as much as you want, and you sell a put. So you end up capping your maximum profits, but you lower your entry price tremendously. So in essence, if you do it just below current price for a month out, you have a month to try and double your money, theoretically speaking. Yeah. So this quote headline could not have come out at a worse situation from me looking out for the bulls. It just bolsters okay, we've just made a bottom. I know they're going to come out and call more bottoms, where the bottom should be a process, not a flashpoint in time. Remember, let's say we eliminate all the tariffs. We still have a recession coming. In fact, it's here already. We're still firing people. That's what they say, right? I think they're lying, but that's what they say. We still have this and that and the other. We have interest rates to deal with. We have inflation to deal with. And the GDP that they say is positive. I call bull on that one. I wonder if it stays positive when we stop spending fiscally from COVID. So we'll see when that ends. If somebody is stuck in a credit call spread here and they don't have time to babysit it for the rest of the day, you can, quote, roll it to tomorrow. And I'm going to revisit that concept with numbers. I'm going to use Luis as an example. 5,300 credit call spread is at the money. The SPX is right here. Right now, it's worth 250 to 280. That's too much. That means they want to go higher. Anyway, with this much time on the clock, why are they quoting me almost $3 for it? It's just barely above the current price. So that's weird. I think it should be closer to 250 than 320, which is what it jumps to. Okay, now, so just keep that in mind, that the quotes are kind of wonky. So let's say I want to open that position for tomorrow. 250423. The position for tomorrow at this time, as soon as I get a quote, is about the same. It's closer to 3. Like 290, 280. I bet you I can close it for today and open it for tomorrow and collect $50 in credit. Okay? So that would be, quote, rolling it. Closing it for today, which means you realize the loss for today, but you reopen it for tomorrow, begging for more time on the clock for you to be right. They'll pay you a credit. So if I did 4 credit call spreads and it's a credit, I open only 3. So I close 4 and open 3. So it's a small debit or flat, okay? Depends on the credit you're collecting. Or you can go higher than 5,300. You go like 53.15 maybe. 53.15 will probably be an even roll. So then you would have improved your situation a little bit. And when you roll it, you can also open a credit put spread, hopefully after a drop today. I'm not a fan of selling a credit put spread, chasing, but if I'm in trouble, I don't mind at all, because what I'm doing now, I'm trying to limit my maximum loss. So let's say I collected $100 to sell the Iron Condor for today, and now I'm pressed on the credit call spread, and I close it and reopen it for tomorrow, and then add another $50 in credits from selling a credit put spread. So now I have $150 in credits. I thereby lowered my maximum loss to 350 from 400. Okay, so tomorrow I will deal with that new Iron Condor and decide what to do with whichever side that's in trouble. If we gap down, then the credit put spread might be in trouble, but I was in trouble anyway. You understand? Now, if I had a bearish scenario for sure, then I wouldn't open the credit put spread. It's a personal preference. Yesterday, we were stuck in the opposite. The credit put spread that ended up working out was pressed hard. So those who rolled it, I said, wait until a rally to sell a credit call spread, and we had a pretty good, strong close. If they did that, they had half a chance to survive the credit call spread today in the morning. The call was close everything in the morning so we can walk away with even or profits. Okay. So now we have the opposite scenario. Too much, in my opinion, too much travel in these indices. There's just too much travel. We are too stupid. That's why. Collectively, the market is not very smart these days. Okay. I said my piece. We're not stupid people. We're just acting emotionally too much. So, what level what for tomorrow? Maria. Massive. We already talked about it. What the targets for Netflix this week? There are no targets. It's at all-time highs. If the market is higher tomorrow, Netflix will be higher tomorrow. It's just, it had its earnings, right? So if they sell Tesla, they're going to buy Netflix. They're the same risk profile. They're both mega caps. They both have good fundamentals, and they will sell one to buy the other, or buy both, or sell both. Would you be able to help me find a downside target on gold? It's at all-time highs. The downside target is whatever. For a week, no, I cannot give you a downside target for a week. I can tell you it's never been higher. So fill the gap, 307, fill another gap, 300. I've never seen this before like this. So we are in uncharted territory. They have been buying dips. Look. Before you say downside target, how about an upside target? So this is repeated like perfectly. Like, why not this? Be open to that as well. That's what's happened. 3 of them, in fact. Watch. Right there. 4. So these are ascending scallops, or whatever they call them, inverted ascending scallops, half umbrellas, like these. They repeat. And as long as you don't give back half, more than half, they're valid. So how about this area to consolidate this weakness? Bounce this area to consolidate this weakness. So I guess this, which played out, by the way, I'm going to delete it because it's hard to explain, but it did play out. See the arrows and all of that. So how about this? Here, and it bounces, and it covers the first gap. Bounces, bounces that path. That's a potential. I'm pretty sure I can come to it from like a rising wedge concept or a harmonic concept at some point. But this is crazy stuff. This is batshit crazy. I'm gonna say it. Sorry, YouTube. Oh my god, this world. That's crazy stuff. It's exciting, but it's crazy. Okay, Derek, I like the way you worded it earlier. I just read your comment on YouTube. It is well organized, right? That's another term I use. Red tick alert, red tick. Good Lord. Good Lord. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do that. I want to make a shocking statement, yeah? So, wait. What is this here? The 1000. Oh. I'll come back to it. I'm sorry. I just want to make something cool. Copy the clipboard. Microsoft, McDonald's. Ah. Never mind. I'll do it in Excel. When the VIX is high, it's always fun to do these. What a difference a day makes. A hell of a day, a few hours make. This is what I was trying to do here. I don't think it's going to let me paste it. Okay, it's too large. All right, we'll put it here. Oh, what? What? Are we peasants? You guys didn't remind me we're on. That's why we're on 1 minute charts. Since when? Hell no. We are on 15-second charts. There we go. Let's look at fair value gaps. Okay, so I see an opening here. Ooh, that's a good candle right there. Whew, smart. Okay. Really smart right there. I'm going to put a box right there just for giggles. Aqua colored, no background, smart candle, 15-second candle. What's today? 422. Let's see if it plays a role if we ever come back down. I don't want to come back down. Not so sure it's a fair value gap. I'm going to put it there anyway. This is a moving average. It's called an anchored VWAP, anchored moving average, based on levels that I've deemed important eons ago. Okay, let's see what happens on this bounce. Every bounce before now brings a higher high. Every one. All day today from the open. You're looking for a change in behavior. We don't have it, right? Not yet. In the meantime, my credit spread is green-ish. It was just green. Now it's not. Now it's flat. The credit call spread at 51, where the hell is it? 53.20. 53.20. Explain the concept of fair value gap. No, not here. I explained it in person. The idea is you want the candles to happen in a way to leave no open orders. I know it sounds crazy, but it's so accurate, it's not even funny. So it's one of the few good tools you might want to add to your toolbox. It's a little bit different than, say, harmonics. There are some really good people that don't believe in witchcraft like that. I do, because it's a matter of math. And they've proven themselves accurate, self-fulfilling prophecies related to Fibonacci. Machines read them. Machines act according to their levels. So I make my case stronger by tracking it as well. This one, the fair value gap, is a little bit better than that because it's actually based on candles, levels, and orders. So maybe one can, but maybe if somebody is leery about harmonics because of extensions, they are more likely to believe in the fair value gap concept because of candles. It's actual orders, actual levels versus the speculation on waves and Fibonacci and all of that. I think a combination of those three things, the third being wolf wave, which is a rising wedge and a descending wedge, insanely accurate, very good predictors. Let's see if I can find us a few predictions here. I'll go to 5 minutes. I predict unpredictability. All right. So now we have a battle and a head and shoulders. The head and shoulders is not a study. Okay. It's a pattern. It tells me where we can go if we cross a line. So me seeing a head and shoulder-ish pattern somewhere around here doesn't mean I short the market. They might be drawing a shoulder, but all day they haven't done that. They kept on and made a higher high. Okay, so for me, it'd be pretty presumptuous on my part to say this is the time where they decide to finish the shoulder and come down this much. Okay, so be careful. Okay. 527.68, 527.6 matters. We are 20 cents away. Oh, my dog is really barking out there. Give the neighbors a break, friend. Clock out, buddy. Clock out. It's not that serious. Look at McDonald's. Holy crap, I just noticed. Okay, McDonald's last night, 305, selling in panic. This morning, 320. What? This morning, it's above the whole week since last Monday. Above, obliterated every level. Oh my gosh, I am short McDonald's, but was like my trades are played out. So let me see here. Where are we? That's crazy. I did close some of it, but yeah, the trades are fine. They're sold calls way out in time. This is insane. This is just some crazy, crazy talk right there. YouTube, ask me a question. Come on. Or we're going to close it down before you see the head and shoulders play out. This head and shoulder ish pattern, I say ish because the neckline is wonky. It should be here. This should be the neckline right here at 0.7, 527.7. But it isn't because of that whatever dip they did a little bit ago. So now that lowers the neckline to my scribbles, which makes the target larger. So there is a chance we're at 525.60 in the next 20 minutes on the SPY. If that's the case, and you do have a put, and this put just came back alive, get rid of it. We're not guaranteed a thing. They are buying dips and making higher highs out of nowhere, and it is well organized. So now, if they ring the bell here, the SPX options are fine. The SPY options are nowhere near fine. They need to be at 525-ish, 525 and a half. Then they would be in balance. The XSP options are okay, believe it or not, having buried those calls way deep in the money down there. The Qs need a dollar drop. The IWM needs a $1.50 drop. When I say need, I mean from me interpreting the amount of calls and puts that are in the money that don't deserve to be in the money. Look at how easily they're erasing, they're bouncing whenever they need to. So you cannot count on anything, like as far as continuing to the downside. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, you have so many green things. Where is the incremental buying going to come from? Crypto stabilized, the XLP stabilized, the VIX stabilized. The VIX has not made a lower low since 8 o'clock my time, which is an hour and 40 minutes ago is when the VIX bottomed. We have obliterated the highs since then. That doesn't make sense. I believe 30.08 happened somewhere just after 8, maybe 8:15. Let me see. 8:10 this morning, my time, California. There is a discrepancy in this market. This is an emotional market. Every green tick in the last hour and 20 minutes is just purely based on a relief rally on a headline. Thank God we have a deal, and we don't. That is not the headline. Not even close. But that's how emotional this market is. Speaking from somebody who has way more long positions than short. So I'm no longer talking my book, folks. You hear me saying that? I am not talking my book. I am long. When I was saying bearish things at the top, I was short the market. I am no longer aggregately short the market. I am short a few things here and there, but I am more long than short. Case in point, yesterday my portfolio was red. Today it's green. Where do I see calm going? You're welcome, Daniel. I don't know what calm is, so I like the ticker. Let's go calm ourselves down. What is your time frame? Oh, Cal Marine, yes. Okay, so this is a daily chart. Whoops. This is a daily chart. And it's stuck. You have a solid buyer into 84 and 82, actually 80. and a solid seller into 102. I don't think it's going anywhere fast. So these are the XL posse, I call them. Look, XLF, Y, I, V, C, P, B, E, and something else. The XL this and XL that, the ETFs, the market, as they say. And these are the mega caps. They're starting to look the same today, which is unusual. Okay, so they lost the neckline, and now their job is to bounce right back and recover it. They need to get back above 528 to say, okay, nope, not going to happen. This head and shoulders is not going to play out. 528. Okay. I think they lost a couple of crucial candles, but they still have the upper hand. Even so, even if I look from here on to here, Fibonacci, you go from point A to point B, you give back half normal, right? And they already approved it as support, and that's what they're doing again, confirming it as support. Now, if you don't, you end up doing this, and you come back into this candle right here, which is this one. This right here is a pretty funky looking candle. This one right there is the red doji. It's pretty wide and pretty indecisive. And it's the base to the whole thing. And it's this box right here. 525-ish. If we end up there, the options would make sense. Constellation of options. Oh, you're welcome, Pete. I do what I can. Okay, so the VIX is not about making the higher high. I see what you're talking about. It had a prior fail, and they're trying to overcome that fail. It's somewhere around 31. I want to see them buying dips, and they don't have that yet. They stopped selling rips, and let's see if they start buying dips. On the 5 minutes, I don't have a confirmation of that. Okay, so it's too early to say we're going to win. My credit call spread is greenish. It's not green. Why not? It's a mile away from here. It's at 51.20. Why is it still greenish and not green? That's because they still allocate. Who's they? The options gods. The sellers of options are still charging too much for the calls for me to believe that we're going south. Somebody made the other comment, which would say the same thing. I'm holding puts, I'm getting red ticks, and I'm not making money because everybody's looking up, not down. Yeah, the afternoon update was designed to settle the F down for people. Did you sense the bullish thesis this morning or all day today? My God. It was like the all-time highs again. Okay, Lori sees red dots on the squeeze. I think you're talking about that one. That means it's ready to make a move. If there's an earnings report on that CALM ticker, I don't know if it's an ETF or not. If it's not an ETF, oh no, it isn't. It's a CalMarine. So maybe they have a move coming. But I couldn't tell you in which direction. You could look at the options if it has a lot of options and trying to guess. This is already bad for the bears. What is happening right here? They consolidated around 528, 760, 70, and they're allowing them to use that small level to recover and get up to 528 or higher. It is horrific price action from a bearish perspective. I don't think they have it in them to be trapping bulls. That would be a bull trap behavior, but on a day like today, like yesterday, I said that cannot be you cannot utter the word bear trap when you're down 3%. You cannot utter the word bull trap on a short-term basis when you're up 3%, because they're not being trapped, they're crushing the bears. So realism. People on YouTube, we're going to cut it off. As much as I want you to see the head and shoulders, join the group. And if you like it, we even have a Discord to go along with it. Sister, it's not necessary. They're completely different. The live room is open all day, every day. The way to the live room is through that link right there. And follow us on YouTube if you don't. That's free. This way, if we go live again, you might catch us. Last minute questions. I'll give you 3 minutes for that. Last 3 minute questions. There's no commitment. You join for a month, you don't like it, you cancel it. You don't pay for the second month. You move on. I think you will never cancel unless you're even if you don't trade live all day every day. Imagine having the recourse of 2 write-ups a day and trade ideas from me and other people, and you come in if you have a problem or if you have a trade idea that you want to propose or ask a second opinion. Say, hey, do you like this? If I like it, I'll take it with you. It's not like I'm an advisor or anything. We have a bunch of really good traders out there. We still have 275 people in the room, maybe more. It doesn't count accurately. Okay, definitely. It's yep, same time, Braddock. So if I forget, you remind me. All right, so I'm looking at my premiums of that credit call spread. I use it as a gauge. It is greener now, but it's still not very green. So they're still not done with the upside hope. So there might be another burst higher. Remember, I did draw the head and shoulders, but the way I worded it was different. I said, I'd be pretty presumptuous to think that they're going to breach it. And because what has been happening is the upside has continued, and I put the dotted line that goes to a higher high today. Best believe it that it's still on the docket because they're not giving me my profits in a sold call spread. Now they just gave me 10 cents extra. So pretty crazy market. First time here. Consider joining us. I bet you, boy, the names are pretty challenging today. That's the brown. Julie? Did I say it right? How far ahead do we start to see the head and shoulders form? As soon as I see a neckline, a battle, I start, but I don't buy a put because there's a head and shoulders. It is not a study. It is a measuring tool. It says if we cross this line, we go there. It doesn't say we're going to cross this line. So if I see head and shoulders, I don't buy a put. I just know that if I'm holding a put and we cross that line, it's a measuring tool. Yeah. And case in point, we did breach it, and now they're they're trying to catch a breath and get back above the break line. You're welcome. Join us again. I'm going to cut it off. Sorry. Five, four, three, two, one. Rudely hanging up. Oh man, we're gonna hang up and we're gonna drop. You're gonna miss it. Better join now.